So one day recently, Typhus decided he's actually going to stop stomping them noobs. Seal clubbing? He's facing off against Eversa Assassin with his Lictor Alpha. I do like the matchup. It gets pretty chaotic. There's a lot of melee going on, and things can just get wiped really easily. Cheeky bio meltdown at the right time when the Lictor thinks he's got an assassination. Bang, all the Hormagaunts are dead. So you gotta be tricky. You gotta be careful on both sides. You gotta really dig deep into your little bag of tricks that you've got as both players. Because you can flesh hook the Eversa away from your Gaunts, rather than just brainlessly flesh hooking him into all your melee and then A moving on top of him, which could go very badly. So we'll see how it goes here. Looks like these guys were playing each other a bit beforehand, so I guess they've repped the matchup a few times, so the build should be decent. I don't mind going lighter against the triple Hormer. You've got to blob your IST up with your strikes though, because individually the Hormers will just run down the IST. And the EA doesn't really like fighting the Lictor, but to be honest, nothing really does early. Maybe the Strike Squad. They can probably force him off without losing a model, so they probably enjoy fighting him, but then you can't really deal with Hormers. I suppose if you've got the EA and IST around, you can deal with one Hormer. You could bleed another Hormer, but you are going to get your Eversa Assassin forced off eventually, and then when the Eversa Assassin gets forced off, the other one can just deal with the IST. But at least you're bleeding them. I disagree with the mindless running past the Strike Squad by Typhus right now. Oh, now he zergs onto them, but what was that? He could have done that over here and not bled models to the Stormbolters. I don't get it. What the hell? And if Eversa Assassin was just going to retreat his strikes immediately, why was he chasing? Where they could at any second stop and get you. But regardless, dozens of Hormagaunts. About 2 dozen. Eating up all the gens. That's a very fast Chem Cloud grenade and not a very good first throw. Did actually manage to snag these guys somehow. I guess this model was very far back. Fucking hell. So the Lictor trying to counter the Purgation there, and before he can even get any pokes in on the model that he flesh hooks, gets specialed by the Strike Squad. Brilliant. This is kind of nuts though. I really do not think this is optimal at all for Typhus right now, so rather than get a tier 1.5 as soon as possible, he has first opted to go for feeder tendrils and adrenal glands, and I don't think these are terrible options on the Lictor in tier 1 against this kind of foe, but I think the amount of pressure you'd get and map control from getting the warriors out sooner would have been better. Maybe the reason he went for that was because he was doing so well in pushing the Eversa Assassin back. Maybe he felt he just wanted to put more pressure on, and he can maybe take this power farm with those war gear upgrades. If so, I'll allow it. I'll go with that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad call. I like the aggressive play. But if it was just something that he was going to do regardless, then I think it's really bad, because it's just not an effective use of your resources compared to getting a Warrior Brood out. And the Warrior Brood is now going to be equipped with a Bow Strangler Warrior Brood, which is going to be pretty good at countering Purgation from afar. Shut them down, suppress them with that Bow Strangler so they can't flame your Hormagaunts as you run in. But Flesh Hook's also a good tool. Probably going to kill that model. Yep, easy Purgation model there for the Lictor. And that flanking Hormagaunt squad catches that IST nice and easily. I'm not sure what the lol is about exactly. But the Chem Cloud nades are going to be amazing right now in a big pitched AVA fight, but you need enough troops around to use it. There's no point debuffing all the damage of the enemies and suppressing them, but then you've got no follow-up. What's the point of that? Okay, there you go. There's the Chem Cloud, and with the suppression there, that would slow the warriors down enough that they're not going to be able to get out of there from the Strike Squad. I don't know why all the Hormagaunts have just disappeared. They've kind of just left the Lictor and the warriors to it. And this is quite risky right now with operatives here as well, weighing in with those shotguns. Yeah, a lot of damage on the Lictor. If there was another special, that could be the end of him. He was trying to fish for a model on the strike squad, and I'm sure he came very close, but no cigar this time. He did get the triple D cap over here. Will he get some caps? He's going to get this cap on the wreck. Oh, he had to retreat that squad? Really? I don't know about that. That leap into combat when you get the adrenal glands on the homers is so good against these kind of squads. Look at that! Ah, they just leap at the last minute and it kind of negates the suppression. Very nice. I mean, yeah, a lot of damage coming out right now. Purgation, not the worst unit in melee, but there is now a second squad of Hormagaunts, and so these guys have to retreat. I'm surprised how well these are doing. Lictor's still trying to get a kill. Finally, he gets one. Finally. This is bold, I was going to say. Bloody hell. Very low HP, Aversa Assassin. Did use the hypermetabolism. To be fair, with hypermetabolism, he could have stayed in that fight for a fair bit longer, but no weapon upgrade on him, so he's not really doing that much damage anyway, and he did force off the Lictor, which I guess was the goal. And a second warrior squad comes out this time, just going to keep melee. I like this build a lot against OM. The Aversa Assassin hasn't even got his third gen up. But if any of you have been watching for a while, you kind of know how Tyranids play. They do have this insane early aggression that's really hard to fend off. But if you do fend it off, they've got some pretty serious drawbacks in Tier 2. Namely, their inability to effectively counter transports, and their inability to field vehicle armor in any conventional fashion in Tier 2. So because of those two weaknesses that Tyranids have, there's definitely a lot of opportunity for comeback here, especially given that actually, Aversa Assassin is up in VPs right now somehow. He's definitely got the worst economy, given that Typhus nearly has the wreck and he already has the power to go Tier 2, whereas Aversa Assassin is still 150 requisition off that, even though Typhus has an extra squad. And Typhus has an extra war gear, so on that basis, you know, the Tier 1's going pretty well for Typhus. And you'd expect that, because he is playing Tyranids. But that was a decent little chem nade, shut down the Hormagaunts, and it's negating a lot of the damage that the Lictor Alpha was doing there. Did you see how many times he chopped at that strike squad, and he just didn't do any damage? Because he had 50% reduced damage from the chem nade, and then you add in the melee resistance that strike squad have as well. And the end result is the Lictor really wasn't doing a lot of damage at all there. But now you're seeing the benefit of this build that he's got. Because the Aversa Assassin doesn't have a melee war gear upgrade, his damage is just really not very good. And the Lictor, because he attacks so fast with feeder tendrils, just tanks through all the damage. I mean, I was just going to say, really unlucky not to get any specials on the Grey Knights there, because that's how they stop that. If he can just keep going nom 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 with constant pokes, he's going to keep healing. But man, no specials at all. What the hell? It wasn't lucky, but it's basically the ideal situation for the Lictor, and man, that fed a lot of XP to the Lictor, who's now level 2, and more importantly, it wiped the strike squad, which is huge, because those guys get such a giant power boost when you get into Tier 2 and you get the Justice Car on them, and now they're gone. So we've literally got 3 squads to 5 squads right now. Granted, 3 of these squads for the Tyranids are only Hormagaunts, but they do get better in Tier 2. They get the Endless Swarm, so they can reinforce for even cheaper, and they get more health. So, plus, there's going to be Adrenal Glands, making them even stronger because of the melee synapse. So there's a lot going on here. This is not looking good for the Grey Knights, but they are up in VPs, and they're coming into Tier 2, which means they can get a Rhino. And the Tyranids, in particular the Lictor Alpha, really struggles at dealing with a Rhino. So we'll see, we'll see. Lictor's just going to continuously hunt these Purgation. He's got the Lone Hunter now, and man, that is some big chunky damage. 40% more damage because of the Lone Hunter upgrade, and 25% damage resistance. So he is going to be able to absolutely slaughter that Aversa Assassin. Nice combo there though. Very good. Really pins down all of those Hormers and forces two of the squads off. This is a bio meltdown. Needs to be very careful. That's it, yes. Control him with the leaps from your warrior, because that's one of the things about the Aversa Assassin. Wow, now he's using Happy Metabolism for the HP regen as well. Doesn't want to lose him apparently, but man, one more hit from the Lictor and that would have been a lost Aversa Assassin. Yikes. Oh, that was way too late with the Stalk Global there for the speed buff. Way too late. That was like fucking 6 seconds too late. God damn it. Anyway, I like the fort, I guess. What were Hormagaunts doing in the base here? What the hell? So we're getting Purifiers for the Aversa Assassin. No Rhino? Really? It feels like heresy. Maybe he just doesn't like it as a principle, but... Purifiers are really good against Nids, but I'd get them after the Rhino. Because Rhinos don't bleed. And they bleed your enemy a lot. And they really help you with map control due to their speed. I'd have gone for a Rhino first and then Purifiers. But we'll see. Just running IST around with 2 models for a capping unit makes a lot of sense. To be honest, their hotshot lasguns are really not going to achieve a lot against the current threats on the field. Hormers are just too quick. So are Genestealers. They're even tankier than Hormers. And they're... I think the same speed. A Genestealer 6.5. Can't even remember. I think they might be. Oh, they're at least 6. They're fast boys. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. IST not really going to do a whole lot. Hotshot lasguns obviously not doing anything for Carapace Armor Warriors. You could get plasma guns, but when you've only got 1 squad, probably not worth it. So right now, you're hoping to get some Synaptic Backlash. There we go, there's some. But the problem is, yeah, in a stand-up fight against Genestealers, it's tricky because they have such high melee skill. They've got abnormally high melee skill, higher than any other squad in the game just by default, 80 melee skill. And then when they're in melee Synapse, they're going up to 90. So nothing can compete with them. And so you will just get chain knocked back. And then their power melee, which does bonus damage against the heavy infantry Purifiers. It's a bad day. You want to try and control these from afar and kill them with ranged. Because they're, you know, against ranged attacks, they're relatively squishy. They're only infantry armor, even if they are fire resist. Which could be useful against this Purgation, actually. But as you can see, even with the melee Synapse HP buff, they're not super tanky. What is that HP buff? 40%, wow. So yeah, the whole point is you shoot them from afar. And again, this is where a Razorback could be really effective. Now we do see reinforced IST with a Sarge. Pulling in said Sarge. So much damage when he's got Lone Hunter, man. So forget the Flamer thing, we now have a Side Cannon. So that'll be very good for focusing down the warriors from afar. And that is a pretty good Chem Cloud. Is this... You see, it's the problem of the Bio Meltdown having like the same sort of visual effect. It's really hard to tell. Okay, we've now got the Eviscerator Axe, so the cheap tier 1 melee weapon, 50 DPS power melee, and it buffs up the damage of nearby melee, but I mean, there's just too many friggin' Tyranids right now, aren't there? Bloody hell, look at all these attacks. Oh my god. Sin Skin Body Glove plural. Well, definitely saving him there. I mean, he's less than the 75 HP. But, oh, one of the Hormers accidentally by Typhus ran into the base and got wrecked by a turret and some ranged fire. So, actually not that bad for Aversa Assassin, who somehow is still really far ahead in VPs. How the hell is he so far in VPs? What is Typhus doing? And now he is bleeding so many Hormers for no reason to these operatives and the IST. Dude, what is he doing? I understand he's replacing the Hormers with Genestealers, but I don't know, man. Should be able to turn around and grab these. Oh, maybe not with Purifiers and the AA coming out. I think you need to get out of there, brother. Yeah. Oof. Is this a Bio Melt? I can't tell whether he's using Bio Meltdown or not. It's really confusing. Yeah? Yeah, he is, right? Yeah, he is. So it's quite cheeky he does that. He combines it with the Chem Cloud, and you can't really tell because the visual effect for a unit that has been affected by Chem Cloud looks identical to the unit being affected by the damage aura of an Aversa using Bio Meltdown. Very cheeky of our Aversa Assassin here, but I did say at the start of this game you need to dig deep into your bag of tricks to win this matchup from both sides. Surprised to not see any pheromones actually. It's quite good, especially when you're running triple homers or Genestealers. They're quite cheap to reinforce as well. What are they, 30 something? Low 30s? Dude, you don't want a third Genestealer. That's got to be Overwatch, right? He's got a full gen farm. He's got a pretty good economy right now, Typhus. A good bank of power. Now, come on. You surely don't want a third Genestealer. Surely not. Oh. Versa Assassin is going tier 3. The only thing free Typhus is doing is getting 3 Genestealers for some reason. Little leap into combat there, catching the operatives nicely. Go on, Lictor. Can he grab one? Just flesh hook him. Go on, I dare you. Flesh hook this dude. No, he's not going for it. Wants to grab the squad leader. And then he flesh hooks a random IST. Bloody hell. Kill the operative. Ha! Okay, well. Funny leaps into combat happen and that IST has to retreat. But I like what Aversa Assassin is doing here because he's got the time, he's got the 371 VPs, and once again he's really making a concerted effort. You see, Typhus is running around the sidelines, he's ignored the mid, so his economy was doing quite well, but I don't know, now I guess he's bleeding quite a bit. He must be because, yeah, like this fight here is terrible, fighting 1v1 without melee synapse on your Genestealers against Purifiers when Purgation are getting Overwatch firing. And the Purifiers do eventually have to retreat thanks to the second Genestealer joining in, but they don't lose a model. And, yeah, one Genestealer died. But he's lost a few Genestealers, and it's impacting his economy, even though he's focusing on the sidelines where those economic points are. He is falling behind. So we'll see. Yeah, this is the worry. Grey Knight Terminator is now coming out for the Aversa Assassin, and without a Carnifex, Grey Knight Terminators are very hard to deal with. Without a Carnifex or without a Neurophrope, ideally you have both. Typhus has neither, because he's not even tier 3, so I am concerned for him. The combination of a Vortimer Razorback plus Grey Knight Terminators is just going to be absolutely brutal. As if a Razorback isn't bad enough to deal with, a Vortimer Razorback with that insane anti-all damage it has. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It really is, especially when they've got Terminators in front of it to tie up any AV that you get. What are you going to do? Send in your Genestealers to kill Terminators? Well, they will do a lot of damage, but they'll also take a lot of damage, and the levitation ability that Grey Knight Terminator have could be a problem if you just try to swarm them with melee. Killzone could be effective. Chem Cloud Grenades are still effective against Genestealers, so I don't know. It's just too one-dimensional by Typhus. All he's doing is spamming fucking Genestealers. You know what? Honestly, against this build that Typhus is doing, you could go for a Land Raider Crusader, and it'd be really good. That would be very interesting to see. But yeah, the Aversa Assassin isolated trying to fight Genestealers is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea? No, it is a bad idea. It's not a good idea. For the reason that we're seeing, he's just going to get constantly knocked over by specials. And that's the power of Genestealers against anything that can be knocked over in melee. But Terminators cannot be, because Terminator armor grants them resistance. Well, in fact, immunity to suppression and knockback. Brave Lictor. There's the levitation. And so they do levitate all those Genestealers. Very weird to go for the Incinerator. I don't remember how expensive that is. If it is quite expensive, then that's a really bad idea, since these things are fire resist. I mean, it's always the case with fire resist units. They'll still generally take pretty good damage from Flamers, because it's still AoE, right? And also, fire resist squads tend to be quite high in models. So they still take way more than something like a tactical marine, even though that's not a fire resist unit. Or maybe, yeah, maybe he wants to use it in range stance though. I don't know. Anyway, it's doing pretty good right now in combination with the side cannon, but there are 2 more squads of Genestealers, and this Purifier squad I am quite concerned for. Yikes, getting flipped all over the place. There is an incendiary shell though on top of them, and they're actually trading quite well in tandem with all the other stuff that the Grey Knights have here right now. Operatives weighing in, side cannon in the back lines, but probably most importantly that Aversa Assassin in the middle, buffing up the damage of both of these squads thanks to that kill zone ability. Yeah, beautifully done. Wipes out a squad of Genestealers there. I mean, yikes. No Warhammer Razorback, but honestly, probably not going to be necessary. He's now got Terminator Librarian, which is interesting. I guess he knows Typhus is in tier 2 because Typhus is just spamming Genestealers, but had Typhus gone to tier 3 and started a Formback Counterfeit production, or even a Swarm Mod, if he could have lasted that long, this Librarian wouldn't be very useful. So I don't really agree with the Terminator Librarian choice. It's okay. And another squad of Genestealers gets killed there, trying to kill the Grey Knight Terminators, who simply teleport away. Teleport away like nothing happened. Easy. Now, only having tier 2 units, it's going to be really hard to deal with the Terminators, because you can't really counter the Sanctuary bubble from the Grey Knight Terminator. I mean, that was not the best use of it, to be honest. Just disrupts the Genestealers a little bit, but essentially the Grey Knight Terminators will be able to retreat for a choke point, and that will stop any pursuit from the Genestealers. And again, you see Aversa Assassin really proactive with the VPs. To be fair, Typhus is on the natural, but at this point he's lost a lot of models and a lot of units, and he's struggling on map control due to it. Yeah, levitation there. Absolutely wrecking that Genestealer squad, and I mean, yeah, that's what Grey Knight Terminators are all about, right? They're a true melee superiority unit, and that ability really ties into that. It's easy for ranged units to dodge it, but melee units that are stuck in a circle around your own melee because they're in the middle of a fight, they do struggle quite a lot to dodge it, and that's the point. It's meant to help them with their melee superiority. Flying enemies are not enemies that can strike back in melee. Librarian possibly going down right now to the Genestealers. Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, not a big deal. I don't know why Aversa Assassin, to be honest, is building Librarians at this point. Doesn't really seem like the best choice. I think a Warhammer Razorback or a Land Runner Crusader would certainly close this one out. But looking at the VPs, he's doing very well, and he's wiped too many of Typhus' squads. Typhus now is just stuck in tier 2. And I think Aversa Assassin just realised, oh, my enemy is stuck in tier 2 right now. Actually, I'm going to get a Warhammer Razorback, because Genestealers won't do shit to that. Even in tier 3 they can't do shit, because they'll never catch it, even if they're heavy melee. Stand with your brothers. So I think we're just closing this out now. 51 VPs remaining for Typhus. I mean, Typhus is just spamming Genestealers, so he's not going to have too much luck. Look at that special though from that Genestealer before he dips. Literally sends everyone flying, and then he's like, yep, I sent you all flying, but you didn't lose hardly any health, so I'm out of here. See you later. We're gonna see a meltdown. Nope. Their melee skill is insane. I mean, that's literally Genestealer's thing. That's what they're all about. But that's why they're so weak to things that can't be knocked over like the Terminators, because their balance is very reliant on the fact that they will just constantly chain knockback things. They did quite well initially, but then Typhus just spammed them, which was ridiculous. But a decent game though. Hope you enjoyed that one, folks. That's going to be all from your boy Torpid. This time, I am signing out.